Cathy Thomas, MacDonald executive chef, owner of Old Vine Cafe in Costa Mesa, knows how to make octopus both tender and delicious. I love his simple approach that includes a Meyer lemon emulsion and sourdough sand. Welcome, Chef. I'm so excited you're doing octopus, but octopus, they start out very tough, right?
They do. It's a very muscular animal, so we need to cook it for a long period of time in order to tenderize it. The octopus is dredged 3 times into boiling water, and then after it is dredged, we drop it in that water, and then we let that gently boil, covered for anywhere between 2 and 3 hours, depending on the size of the octopus. The octopus is ready is when the tentacles literally pull away from the rest of the body effortlessly. After you do cook the octopus, it's important to let it cool in its own liquid. We want to make our breadcrumbs.
I love your name for this. You call this sourdough sand.
Yes, well, I mean, it's inspired by the sea. Octopus comes from the sea, so that is what we're calling it. So we're just gonna quickly pulse these crumbs. I like to tear them apart just a little bit. And simple as that.
And I would call that medium fine.
Yes, and I'm going to dress with some high quality extra virgin olive oil. I'm actually going pretty heavy on this because not only is it helping the crispiness of the crumbs, but it is adding to the flavor. And then we're lightly seasoning, just a little bit of salt, and I like to use white pepper.
Okay.
And then these are transferred to a sheet tray, and we're gonna go ahead and put these in the oven and toast them up.
Okay.
The next step, we're making a Meyer lemon emulsion. I like Meyer lemons because they're a little bit sweeter and a little bit less acidic.
And I found that you can get Meyer lemons almost year-round now.
Yes, in California we certainly can. So I'm gonna add the salt and pepper. Once I turn this machine on, I'm going to add the egg yolks, and then I'm gonna temper in the extra virgin olive oil. I wanna use a low enough speed initially to where I can take the lid off. And with that lid off, it'll be easier for me to temper in my other ingredients. And then once I'm done tempering all of this oil in here, I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to turn the speed up so that we can create a little bit of volume out of the emulsification. This is one of the tentacles from the octopus. I'm just sectioning this off into the size that I'm looking for my plate presentation.
So they're a little bit more than 2 inches long and they're cut on the diagonal.
Exactly. We're gonna add a little bit of clarified butter to the pan.
And why do you use clarified butter?
I love the flavors, and the clarified butter also handles high heat nicely. I like to be careful not to remove the suckers. They're not only texturally pleasing, but they look really pretty on the plate as well.
It's a visual thing, isn't it?
We are looking to add a little bit of color and a little bit of crisp to these. I'm adding a very small dice of celery. I'm gonna let these sear.
I think celery is greatly underused. I love celery and I love the leaves of the celery.
Another couple of seconds, we'll be able to turn our tentacles. The octopus was cooked in lightly salted water, but I want to lightly season the octopus and the celery. The first step is going to be to add our emulsion to the plate, and then I'm going to add my sand.
I have to tell you, Chef, it really does look like sand.
It does, in a way, doesn't it? And now I'm gonna place my octopus. And I'm looking for some height here with the octopus. I wanna show off those beautiful tentacles. And then I have my celery ribbons here.
And how did you make those celery ribbons?
Just a simple vegetable peeler. And you peel the top layer off the celery and you just pull and make ribbons. Put them directly in ice water and they just naturally curl up. And I'm going to finish with a nice drizzle of extra virgin olive oil.
Beautiful, Chef. Thank you so much, Chef.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Here's a quick tip from Melissa's. A simple salad that showcases oranges and avocados is a true delight. Simple, yet delicious. Start by arranging some lettuce on a small platter. Today, I'm using red leaf lettuce. I've got some red onion here that I cut into lengthwise slivers, and I tasted it and it had a little bit too much burn for my taste buds. So I put it in some ice water and let it sit for a couple of hours. So now I just want to drain that off. Next, some vinaigrette. Okay, I've got some fresh lemon juice in here, a couple of tablespoons, and I want to add some salt to get it to dissolve in the acid, and then a drizzle of about 1/3 of a cup of olive oil. Some juice from some sliced oranges. These are navel oranges, and I want to cut parallel slices on either end, and following the contour of the fruit to remove the peel. You could cut these into segments, but it's kind of nice and simple just to cut them into nice slices. Slices on top. When you buy avocados, oftentimes they're just as hard as rocks, and if you leave them at room temperature for a couple of days, they start to get a little bit soft at the stem end. You can then put them in the refrigerator and they last for several days, but you've got to keep an eye on them. And just find a nice home for them. Drained red onions, kind of just scatter them higgledy-piggledy on top, and then the dressing. Salt on top, freshly ground black pepper, some Marcona almonds. And that's going to add some nice crunch, and that's all there is to it. This goes with any kind of grilled meat or just on its own. The produce aisles are filled with so many delicious choices. Try something new, have an adventure.